Tornadoes, 2 of them confirmed here in Kentucky, and 2 EF1s, one in Clark County and the other in Henry County. That was overnight Friday into Saturday morning.
Explain the EF1 because you have ZF0, which many times doesn't cause a lot of damage, but EF1's one step above that.
Yeah, it was around 90 miles per hour, 85 to 90 miles per hour. It was short-lived, but they got over 35 calls overnight Friday night into Saturday morning to emergency management. So, I mean, it was a system. It was a very low risk, but low risk doesn't mean zero, which is what we highlighted on Friday. So I'm glad that there were no injuries reported overnight Friday, but we're getting closer to severe weather season. So we're going to see a toss-up of snow chances and then tornadoes here for the next few months.
Quite the contrast from tornadoes to snow.
I prefer snow.
All right, thank you. Well, we want to show you some of that damage from over the weekend. Take a look at the mess left behind from, as Colleen just told you, the EF1 tornado. This is just south of Underwood, Indiana. That's in Clark County on Saturday.
Within hours, National Weather Service surveyors made their way to southern Indiana to assess that damage. They determined the tornado's winds reached a max of 90 miles per hour during the brief time on the ground. National Weather Service meteorologist John Gordon says warm temperatures fueled the severe storms, which hit when most people were sleeping.
It's the worst case scenario. It is. We had December 21, we had Mayfield, Bowling Green, things like that. Folks, just have a way to receive your warning. Be prepared. You never know when this is going to happen. When it gets warm, better have a plan at night.
And take a look at our drone video going over some of the rooftops there out of that EF1 tornado. Again, the cleanup started over the weekend and continued today.
More news right here at 5 o'clock. We have a new ruling out of Nelson County today in the Crystal Rogers case. Judge Charles Sims has granted Joseph Lawson's request for a bond reduction, but he didn't grant it in full. Lawson's charged with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. In court last week, his attorneys requested a bond reduction from $500,000 down to $50,000, arguing as a paraplegic the defendant's not a danger or flight risk. But the prosecutor fought back, saying he can't be trusted outside of jail. The prosecutor alleged when Lawson found out he was under investigation, he contacted friends and family in hopes of creating an alibi. With all of that in mind, the judge ruled his bond will be lowered from $500,000 down to $250,000 full cash. Joseph Lawson, his father Steve Lawson, and Brooks Houck are all expected back in court on March 21st.
Say that I'm really excited about the team that was elected, and the current president's shoes are going to be big ones to fill, and I definitely plan on taking a team-based approach and leveraging all of the leaders that we have in elected positions and, rank and file throughout the membership.
She's the new president. She's taking over the powerful and the largest teachers union in the state of Kentucky. We're talking about right here in Louisville. That's Maddie Shepard. She is now president-elect for the Jefferson County Teachers Association, who represent nearly 6,000 JCPS employees. It's the first change in that position after 23 years. Brent McKim has retired now from that position. WHAS11's Ian Hardwick talked to her today about what her hopes are for teacher pay and how to make that happen.
As president, I will continue to advocate for what all teachers and what all professionals deserve.
For Maddie Shepard, increasing teacher pay is about respect. Her concern is that educator wages have lagged behind inflation. It's a problem legislators in Kentucky acknowledge too.
The Republican-led budget moving through Frankfort right now calls for more money to go to schools across the state. They encourage it to be used for staff raises. However, a spokesperson with JCPS tells me it doesn't even equal a 1% raise for all of their employees.
On average, the proposed budget gives districts $168 per student in SEEK funds. Because SEEK uses a special formula to distribute the money, JCPS would only see about $73 per student in state assistance. That's because property values and thus property taxes are higher in Jefferson County versus other Kentucky counties. While it's not required to use the extra money on teacher raises, the potential legislation does threaten closures of schools and takeovers of school districts if they fail to hire and keep teachers.
But there is funding to be had. The state has not fulfilled its obligation to pay 100% of transportation costs in JCPS or other districts.
Increased transportation funding is part of the budget too. It would free up about $27 million for the district, which Shepard hopes would go towards higher pay. She also advocates for teachers having a bigger influence in how JCPS operates.
A role in decision making is something that I'll work towards as well. In addition to addressing a lot of the student behavior issues that a lot of teachers report.
Those behavior problems, just like inflation, were intensified as a result of the pandemic. In Louisville, Ian Hardwick, WHAS 11 on your side.
The new president's three-year term begins after the end of the school year, starting June 15th.
New tonight, Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman announced he's suing Kroger for its alleged role in the opioid crisis. The lawsuit was just filed in Bullitt County Circuit Court. Coleman claims between the years of 2006 and 2019, Kroger was responsible for over 11% of all opioid pills dispensed in Kentucky. The lawsuit says Kroger failed to implement any effective monitoring programs to stop suspicious opioid orders. And from the years 2007 to 2014, the suit claims Kroger did not report a single suspicious prescription.
And a bill to enhance the transparency of sexual misconduct allegations against teachers just made its way through the Kentucky House in Frankfort. We're talking about House Bill 275, aims to make it more difficult for teachers with allegations of sexual misconduct to move from one district to another. It would require school districts to contact each district and that previously employed a job applicant for a reference check. And they'd also have to disclose any allegation or disciplinary action related to abusive conduct while that applicant worked for the school district.
This is a piece of legislation that I honestly wish we didn't have to deal with. And I'm going to say that 99.9% plus of our dedicated teachers and those individuals who work in our school systems are there to support our children, to help them in their education.
That bill is now heading to the Kentucky Senate. Meantime, authorities in Grayson County, Kentucky are supporting a bill that could change the way our water is treated. Dental experts, though, are pushing back on this.
House Bill 141 would give local governments the authority to decide whether to add fluoride to their water. According to the United Health Foundation, Kentucky is the #1 state for water fluoridation. Almost every single county has fluoride in their water. Our neighbors in Indiana have a 92% fluoridation rate, and Tennessee has about 88%. Nationally, the U.S. has a goal for 77% of Americans to have water that can protect their teeth with enough fluoride by 2030. Senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Jessica Farley report from a water treatment plant to our west.
Well, the before and after process is really incredible to see for yourself. Check it out. You see the water as it comes out of the river versus the crystal clear version that eventually gets sent out to your homes. But officials here in Grayson County want one part of the post-treatment process to be taken out altogether.
James Hale is the operations manager at Grayson County's water treatment plant. He represents one of several counties that wrote letters to Frankfort voicing support for House Bill 141. It would give the green light to local governments to decide whether to add fluoride to its tap water system. Supporters suggest the dental upside isn't worth its potential harm.
Kentucky has been adding fluoride to the water since I believe it was 1954, and we rank nearly dead last in dental health in the country. So to me, that says that that isn't helping the problem. You know, there needs to be another way to do that.
Dentists have sworn by the fluoridation process for decades as a proven way to prevent decay and disease down the line. But some studies have pointed to higher levels of fluoride intake for young kids being harmful for early brain development.
We just have a real lack of access for children already. So to increase decay and remove this protection would be really detrimental to the workforce.
Coming up at 6, how the cost of fluoride treatment factors in here and what some lawmakers are calling an unfunded mandate. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
Almost identical versions of this bill have been filed for years.
But this year's version is already seeing more success, passing through a committee in Frankfort and awaiting a full vote in the Kentucky House.